Hello, and welcome to Module 5 of this completely free golf psychology series, brought to you by freesportspsych.com and me, Psycho Sid. As per the instructions in the email I sent you, I hope you have a pen and paper to hand to make any notes that you need. Just pause the presentation as necessary. Also, please watch the presentation in full screen mode. Click on the rectangular icon in the bottom right of the video box. Okay, let's get started. The title for this module is Body Language. For this module, we are going to be looking at the second impact factor for maintaining a pathway to success. So what is body language? It can be described as the way we physically present ourselves to the outside world. This is a complete package of posture, facial expression, speed and nature of movement. And guess what? Your body language is created by the thoughts you are having, just like everything else. Our physiology means the way our body is operating. So we can think of our heart rate and breathing as factors that change body language. There is greater impact from our physiology, as we will discover later. It is also important to note here that body language constitutes 55% of our communication. The experiment that gave us this statistic also showed that our tone of voice constituted 38% of communication. This means that the way we say things and how we look when we say them is a total of 93%, with the actual words only left with a 7% impact. Good body language means good communication and good relationships, important factors in competing in match play and in team building. Here is a very important medical fact, not psychobabble or mumbo-jumbo, but an investigated fact. It is impossible to be mentally relaxed and physically tense simultaneously, or vice versa. It means that we will always be physically and mentally relaxed, or physically and mentally tense. We can therefore understand from this that if we actively take control and adopt positive body language, our thoughts will definitely follow. We must now consider that our body is a chemical cocktail. We function as a result of chemical secretions and electrical charges within our systems. We must therefore realise that our physiology is altered by the substances we ingest. These substances can be as seemingly insignificant as coffee or tea, energy drinks and sugary foods. We can also think of over-the-counter or prescription drugs, or indeed the illegal recreational drugs. All these substances affect the way our bodies are functioning. Our bodies are creating their own chemicals too. If we are happy, sad or angry, then these emotions are created by the flow of chemicals released in our systems. They are very powerful. We can consider the positive impact of placebos, fake medicines, that are as effective as the real thing due to our chemical response to a belief we have been medicated. If we are secreting chemicals in our system, how long do they stay there? In the case of chemicals that indicate hunger, for example, they dissipate as we fill our stomach. But if we experience real anger, for example, then the chemicals can remain present for many hours. This means the person is far more likely to blow a gasket again if provoked. In golfing terms, losing our temper, sometimes called head-offs, means that you are going to be ready to lose control again later in your round, whether you like it or not. We must understand that we have no active control over these chemical secretions directly, nor over heart rate or blood pressure. These functions are far too important to be left to our conscious control and are handled by our subconscious minds. What we can understand is that by controlling our body language, we are indirectly controlling these chemical secretions. If we maintain positive body language, then the chemicals in our bodies will match and the heart rate, etc. will follow. Our focus then needs to be on what we can control. Let's start with breathing. If we wish to be relaxed, then our breathing should be deep and even paced, and in and out of your nostrils. It is fairly easy to do this when we have become aware that we are feeling tense. It doesn't take long, 30 seconds or so, and we will start to feel much more relaxed, and our minds will follow, creating more calming thoughts. If we wish to become more pumped up, then a few deep breaths in your nostrils and out of your mouth will do the trick. It is just as easy to modify our speed of movement. Tension is visible through jittery movements and is a product of anxious thoughts. By slowing down movements such as walking or making more deliberate hand gestures, we are indirectly altering our chemical secretions and heart rate, etc., etc. Again, this is very easy to do once we have become aware of the tension. It is highly advantageous to adopt good posture. We become more alert, focused, and far more able to ingest and retain information in learning environments. Those with good posture create excellent impressions with others as well. So there is a doubly good reason for doing so in front of your match play opponent. Interestingly, eye movement has a dramatic effect on physiology. If we imagine the flicking eye movements of a nervous person, or the eyes of a worried, sad person looking directly at the floor, then we can recognise the link between the thoughts and this resultant body language. What we must understand is by controlling the eye movements, we control how we feel. The most effective method is to keep your eyes looking above, horizontal to the floor. We are now seeing a panoramic view of what is in front of us, and this equates to being under no threat in our subconscious mind. We therefore feel better. The phrase, "things are looking up," is a nice way to remember this simple, effective body language. Added all together, body language is going to impact how well we maintain ourselves on the pathway to success. Just as with self-talk, it is part of this inevitable loop that we call team, and as such must be controlled as best we can. Picture yourself walking down the fairway, an overall relaxed pose, with your arms swinging in sync with your even-paced steps. You smile at your playing partners if they catch your eye, while maintaining an overall view of what is in front of you. You take time to take a few deep breaths of the fresh air as you approach the green. What sort of thoughts do you imagine you would be having? Yes, happy, calming, or maybe feeling in control? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Let's look at body language in golf-specific examples. Before starting your driving off pre-shot routine, take a few deep breaths and blow out through your mouth. You will feel energized and maybe gain a few yards. Walking down the fairway, especially on a tough day, look at the sky or the treetops. Keeping your eyes above horizontal activates your parasympathetic nervous system. You will feel better. Soft hands are required for great chipping and bunker play. When you draw the club from the bag, hold it lightly between a couple of fingers as you walk around assessing the shot. This will help you remain calm and relaxed. Putting also requires calmness. As you read the line and perform your putting routine, breathe slowly and evenly through your nostrils. Between holes, shake out any tension you may have acquired through a tough save or the anger of a dropped shot by relaxing your neck and shoulder muscles. This is where a lot of tension is stored in the body, so release it. A nice way to finish off this module is to consider how body language is impacting many different scenarios in other walks of life. Physical attraction, and especially those first impressions, are created by the good body language of the people involved. We are very sensitive to these impressions. People are often said to have an aura about them. This comes from how they are subtly interacting with others. I've picked legendary Australian cricketer Shane Warne as an example, as he was very much an individual. He once stated, "A coach is something that picks you up from the hotel and drives you to the ground." He was, however, equally happy though to give credit to the coaches at the Australian Institute for Sport, who taught him the benefit of good body language. He would always be upbeat and chirpy when fielding, even in tough conditions, so that when the captain asked him to bowl, he would be in the perfect frame of mind to perform. It is true that in India, morning meetings take place where the local people all laugh together for a few minutes. This creates a flow of positive chemicals in the system and helps people living in maybe harsh conditions to cope with their day. If you can't control your body language, don't play cards. Micro-facial movements and other repeated physical movements give the game away to seasoned players. You will lose all your money. I've chosen a final example that represents the type of work I do. Facilitators of seminars have to be upbeat and positive all day, and sometimes that is tough. A facilitator has to control their body language and their thoughts, regardless of how they may be feeling as a normal human being. A great example of a famous facilitator is Tony Robbins. He creates an incredible energy in his live performances, and this transfers to the delegates, who find themselves positive and in a great state to learn. This module discusses the impact of body language and its impact on maintaining a pathway to success. If we set goals to make real change, then we must be aware of how we are presenting ourselves physically and controlling our physiology. Along with self-talk, we must be self-aware and take active control for our certain benefit. So, we have reached the end of this module. The task at hand for you now is to start becoming aware of your body language and keeping it positive. In the next module, we will be completing by considering how to achieve a peak performance state. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.